We got shirts on sale. Express your Eeveelution and starter Pokemon love by buying an Eeveelution family shirt and Which One starter shirt. Link will be in the description below. We are in the Pokemon Black and White 2 best team finally, and starting off, we have the Serperior team. Black and White 2 provided us with a lot more Pokemon to use than Pokemon Black and White, so this team will be a little more diverse. With that being said, more Pokemon from other regions will be used as well. I think you guys will enjoy this best team a lot, and it's actually cooler because I get to include some of my favorite Pokemon on here too, including Serperior. I can talk about how I enjoy Serperior all day though, but I got a best team to talk about. Before we move on to the actual team though, let me explain what a best team is for all you newcomers out there. A best team is a team of 6 Pokemon that is designed for the absolute best performance for its said Pokemon game. The team usually revolves around a best starter, but since we are using the alternate starter, our team of 6 will be revolving around Serperior, specifically for Pokemon Black and White 2. Each team member is designed to do well against certain gym leaders, the Elite Four members, champion, rival, and the evil team leaders. In the end, we have a team that does well against all the most important battles in-game. When making this team, we do provide movesets for the Pokemon. We include TM moves, but we do not allow egg moves nor post-game tutor moves. However, this time around, tutor moves pre-post game will be available in Driftville City and a few other places. So yeah, you know what's going down though with this team, let's hop right into it. Alrighty, so starting off this best team in Black and White 2, we have Serperior, which in my opinion is the best starter for Unova when it comes to favorites, but not competitively or for an in-game playthrough. Like I said in my first Black and White team for Serperior, grass Pokemon just don't do all that well in Unova, but I think it does slightly better in Black and White 2 because of a few trainer additions. Regardless, despite Serperior not doing excellent in Unova, it's got a fun move pool, nice stats, and some great buff-up attacks. Its stats are honestly overall all pretty balanced. It's got solid 95s in both defense stats, 113 in speed, and 75 in both attack stats and HP. If you want a balanced starter, Serperior should be your choice. Balance is not a bad thing at all. That's why it performs so well in competitive, and of course because of its ability being contrary. But unfortunately, it has overgrown this game, so we don't get the luxury of having contrary. Even with it having overgrow though, let's have some fun with Serperior. I guarantee it won't be that bad using it, even if it is considered the worst starter for an in-game playthrough in Unova. It does have its benefits though, that is definitely for sure. For a moveset, we're using the same exact one we did in the original Black and White Serperior team. Those moves consist of Leaf Blade, Giga Drain, Aerial Ace, and Coil. Leaf Blade can be learned via level up at level 32, Coil can be learned at level 38, and Giga Drain can be learned at level 44. Aerial Ace can be found on the Mistralton Airport Strip. These moves are all relatively simple and easy to get, plus I think they are the best moves Serperior can get for its time. Leaf Blade is powerful and has a pretty high critical hit rate. Giga Drain is nice because you get HP recovery back. Aerial Ace is there for coverage, and Coil is fun to set up if you're in a pinch, though the accuracy part doesn't really come in that much handy, in my opinion. The attack and defense buffs definitely do though. We have 2 grass attacks because its move pool sucks. I said the move pool was fun, not good. With these moves though, Serperior does well against Clay's Krokorok and Sandslash, Marlin's team, Chantel's Golurk, Grimsley's Scrafty and Crocodile, Iris's Lapras, and Hugh's Simipour. So before we move on to the second team member, we need to have a temporary Pokemon join the team, being Magnemite. Magnemite is here to help us against Roxy, as there are no really good Pokemon that are super effective against her Coughing and Whirlipede that early on in the game. So the best we can do is wall our poison attacks with Magnemite's steel typing. Sure, Hermon's dark type moves are still going to do regular damage, but there's nothing we can really do about that. So just pick up a Magnemite from Verbeck Complex and just do your best to power through Roxy's gym. So moving on to our actual number 2 spot, we have one of many returning members being Vaporeon. Last time we saw Vaporeon was all the way back in the Charizard best team for Fire Red and Leaf Green. I'd actually forgotten about that until just now. Vaporeon is here because it's the only really viable option for a water and ice type coverage. I would have really loved to have Starmie be on this team, but you can't get Starmie until Giant Chasm, which is super late in game, and by that time it wouldn't be worth to switch it out. You get Eevee fairly early on at Castelia Park, which is found by traveling through the Castelia sewers. Prepare to be there for a little bit, as Eevee only has a 5% encounter rate, but I promise you it's worth it. To get the Water Stone, you'll also need to get a temporary Surfer to evolve Eevee later on in the game. I know this is a pain in the butt, especially since it's not Starmie, but Vaporeon is still really good and it is worth the effort. It's got very solid stats, especially its 130 HP and 110 special attack stat. Its move pool might be a little lacking, but it's still got some very solid stuff to work with. So its moveset is pretty simple, being Surf, Aurora Beam, which you will later upgrade to Ice Beam, Shadow Ball, and finally Toxic. Surf is obtained from Charon after the World Tournament incident with Team Plasma. Aurora Beam is a level up move learned at level 36, which you will later replace with Ice Beam. That TM can be found in Giant Chasm later on. The Shadow Ball TM can be found right behind the Strange House on the outside of Reversal Mountain. And finally, Toxic's TM can be found much later on in Seaside Cave. With these moves, Vaporeon does well against Hughes and Pheasant and Embour, Skyla's Swoobat, Drayden's team, Marlin's Jellicent, Chantel's team, Grimsley's Crocodile, Caitlyn's team, Iris's team except for Iris, a Shadow Triad's Bayonet with Shadow Ball, Chorus's Metang and Behem, and finally Ghetsis, Cofagrigus, and Hydreigon. I hope none of you died of Vaporeon because as you can see, it definitely will put in a lot of work, and I'm happy to have it back on the best team. Moving on to the third spot is Excadrill. Excadrill is super awesome, and it's a veteran of the best team making its return. Drillbur can be found in the Relic Passage, which links from the Castelia sewers. Excadrill is a super powerful ground Pokemon with great stats. To me, it's the best ground type Pokemon you can get in Unova, and even outclasses Crocodile. We already have a dark type in Scrafty too. Not saying Crocodile is bad, but I think Excadrill is just better in terms of power. Last time Excadrill was on a best team, I also mentioned you could not get Iron Head in Black and White. In Pokemon Black and White 2, however, you can get Iron Head from a move tutor inside of Driftville City. Excadrill also gets Earthquake decently early as well. This drill monster also checks Elesa for us, so we're pretty much good to go for electric mons. But yeah, Excadrill is a ground type superstar, and I hope you guys will enjoy using it again. A moveset for Excadrill is pretty easy to do since we have Iron Head access. Starting off for stab, we have Earthquake, which can be learned at level 36, and Iron Head, which I mentioned earlier, can be learned from a tutor in Driftville City, which you'll need shards for. I'll provide a video in the description for easy shards. Lastly, we have Aerial Ace, and then we got Rock Slide. Aerial Ace can be found on the Mistralton Airport Strip, and Rock Slide can be found in the Mistralton Cave. Rock Tomb is the move you should teach to Drillbur first when it comes to fighting against Elesa's Emolga. Rock Tomb can be found in the Relic Castle on the second bottom floor. With all these moves, Excadrill does great against Elesa's team, Clay's Excadrill, Skyla's team aside from Skarmory, Marlin's Caracosta, but why? Chantel Chandelure, Grimsley's Bisharp, Caitlyn's Sigilyph, Iris's Aggron, Archeops, and Lapras, Hughes' Embour and Unpheasant, Zinzalin's team, the Shadow Triad's Pawniard and his Selgor, Chorus's Steel types, and Ghetsis' Poison types. Oh hey look, Sigilyph is on the best team again. I wonder how. I mean, it's the best flying Pokemon you can get in Unova aside from the legendaries. You can also find Sig in the usual spot in the Desert Resort. It's got a great move pool, great stats, and it has an amazing typing of Flying and Psychic. I can talk about how great it is, but I have talked about it so many times in the past, I think you guys get it by now. If you want more info, go watch all the other Unova best teams. This is my lazy pass. As for the moveset, we have the usual Air Slash, Psychic, Flash Cannon, and Fly. Air Slash and Psychic can be taught via level up at level 41 and 44. You can use Air Cutter at level 21 until Air Slash, and you can use Psybeam, which you get level 18 until you get Psychic. Flash Cannon is located in Twist Mountain near Icarus City, and Fly is given to you by Bianca right outside of Nabasta City. Like I always say, if these moves don't work for you, Sig has some great moves to pick from. With all these moves though, Sigilyph is great against Berg's team aside from Dwebble, Grimsley's Scrafty, Marshall's team, Iris's Archeops, Zinzalin's team with Flash Cannon, but be careful, and Hughes' Embour. We have yet another returning member to the team series, being Scrafty. As usual, Scraggy can be found pretty early on in the Desert Resort. We are using Scrafty again for a couple reasons. I explained it pretty well in the best team for Oshawott, so if you want a more detailed explanation, you can check that out there. But basically, we don't want any trade evolutions, exclusive Pokemon, or to have our fighting and dark type coverage too late in the game, and Scrafty just happens to check all of those requirements. Yes, Scrafty is a little slow, but it definitely makes up for that with its strong defenses and pretty decent attack stat, as well as only having weaknesses to fighting and flying. It's also got a pretty decent move pool to work with as well, so it's pretty easy to see why Scrafty makes its way back to the best team series yet again. Now for its moveset, we had to change it just a tad, because Dragon Claw isn't accessible until post-game now. However, it's still most intact with Crunch, High Jump Kick, or Brick Break, whichever one you prefer, Rock Tomb, shortly followed by Rock Slide, and Work Up. Crunch is a level up move learned at level 38, so just use Fang Attack on Scraggy until then. High Jump Kick and Brick Break are also level up moves, and I'm leaving it up to you to decide which you guys prefer. If you want to go high risk reward, then go High Jump Kick, and if you want lower damage output but consistency and safety, then go Brick Break. Rock Tomb is going to be found in the Relic Castle, which you'll want for Elesa. Then for Rock Slide, its TM is found in Mistralton Cave, and finally the Work Up TM is given to you after you beat Charon at the Aspertia Gym. With these moves, Scrafty does well against Hughes and Pheasant, just be careful of Aerial Ace, and his Bouffalant, Elesa's Emolga with Rock Tomb, Clay's Crocroc and Excadrill. You can use Rock Slide against Skyla's Swoobat and Swanna, but that's really risky. Marlin's Caracosta and Jellicent, Chantel's entire team, just be careful of Drifloon's Acrobatics, Grimsley's team, but be wary of Scrafty's Brick Break and Bisharp's Aerial Ace, Caitlyn's team, be careful of Air Slash and Focus Blast, Iris's Hydreigon, Archeops, Aggron, and Lapras. Again, pay attention to those flying and fighting moves, all the Shadow Triad's Pokemon, Chorus's team, and finally Ghetsis' Cofagrigus and Hydreigon. Again, Scrafty puts in some serious work, especially in the late game, so it's obvious that it would find its way back to the best team. Wrapping up our best team, we have a new member incoming, being Galvantula. Now before I get into why it's great, let me tell you guys why I chose Galvantula over the other electric Pokemon across Unova. Let me say, I think Electivire is the best option to pick. It's version exclusive and it's trade. If you want an Electabuzz in White 2, you can. It's got the best level up moves out of all the electric types in Unova, but it's only available in White 2. That's why I'm not using it on the best team. No version exclusives or trade mons, you guys didn't want those anymore. Other electric types are too slow and don't get their high damaging electric attacks till later on. Jolteon is a fun option as well, but I get tired of using it because it lacks a great move pool, and you also don't get discharge until level 37. Using Thundershock until level 37 will suck. Thunderfang is also worse for it than Thundershock because Jolt's physical attack is complete garbage. Galvantula is best for this job because the secondary bug typing can come in handy for those dire situations. Trust me. The main move you'll be using is Electro Ball because you won't be getting discharge until a long time. Electro Ball does damage based on your Pokemon's speed versus your opponents, and I have calculated the numbers. The majority of the time, it will be doing 60 base power to most of your opponents, so it's not that bad. You will do 40 at one point, and that's against Scala Swoobat. But yeah, I think you guys will enjoy using Galvantula. Hopefully I threw some light on why Galvantula is one of the best electric types to use for Black and White 2. Also, I almost forgot, Joltik can be found in Chargestone Cave right before Mr. Alton City. For moves with Galvantula, I'm going to be giving it Bug Bite / Bug Buzz, Electro Ball, Discharge / Thunderbolt, Energy Ball, and Thunder Wave. Bug Bite is a physical attack, I know, but you only need to use that until Signal Beam. Signal Beam is learned at level 34, and if you want Bug Buzz, that's at level 60. But the primary one I would stick with is Signal Beam for now. Next up we have Electro Ball, and I already mentioned why we were teaching it that attack earlier. It's the only decent electric type attack until Discharge, which is level 54. So basically for electric attacks, teach Joltik Electro Web first, then Electro Ball, then Discharge, and if you want to teach it Thunderbolt, you can. It's just a little out of the way in Victory Road, but if you want the extra power, you can teach it that. For coverage, we got Energy Ball. It's great against ground type and rock type Pokemon. That TM can literally be found right next door to your house in Aspertia City, across a small pond of water. Thunder Wave is the last attack I think should be taught. Thunder Wave is great because paralysis and it slows your opponent down. Plus Electro Ball and Thunder Wave work really well together hand in hand. With all these moves, Galvantula is great against Skyla's team, Marlin's team, Chantel's Driftblim, Grimsley's team aside from Bisharp, Caitlyn's team, Iris's Lapras, Gadzis' Seismitoad, Hugh's Simipour, Chorus's Behem, and the Shadow Triad's Absol. Well, that pretty much wraps up this best team for Serperior Black and White 2 Edition. A lot of these Pokemon are veterans of this series, and one was new. Enjoy using this team with Serperior. I think it has a lot of chemistry. Would you change any of the Pokemon on the team though? And if so, why? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, why not leave a like and subscribe to my channel with notifications on, that way you never miss an upload. If you want to support me further, consider following my Twitch where I stream a lot of Pokemon content and a lot of other gaming content like shiny hunting, Zelda, Fire Emblem, Borderlands, and much more. Want to support me further and gain cool perks? Check out my Patreon. Fly Jubilee, Dan Leone, Lady Crimson, Pal491, The Lazy Leo, Matthew Young, Austin Lego, and Dirtweez Austin did. I want to thank them personally for going above and beyond. It means the world to me. I think I'm gonna wrap this up though. I'm Mr. Gumbrown, and I will see you in the future for more awesome Pokemon content.